वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल। बहुत सारे लोगों ने मुझसे पूछा है कि डू यू योर सेल्फ डू algos, and while my channel is called the QuantLab and I'm fundamentally trying to evangelize and talk about quantitative finance and a little bit of trading, bringing technology into this space, मेरा फंडामेंटल गोल या सेटअप अभी भी algo बेस्ड नहीं है. However, I want to achieve that setup in this year. लेकिन एक बहुत सिंपल सी कॉन्वर्सेशन है जो लॉट ऑफ न्यू यंग पीपल, लाइक न्यू नहीं, यंग पीपल, kids who are just out of college or young engineers who book time on topmate, and they have asked me that, how should we start talking and thinking about finance. So this video is very much from the heart and is my own personal journey with stock markets. Bear with me, I am not going to share any numbers. ये numbers का game नहीं है. मैं ट्रेडिंग स्पेसिफिक स्टॉक्स के बारे में बात करना बिल्कुल प्रेफर नहीं करता. इफ़ यू हैव joined the WhatsApp community, which by the way is 100% free, no strings attached, completely community driven, मैं उसको प्रमोट करने का इंटेंट है. तो why I think now is, or any time, right, stock markets are a good thing. What you see is my growth trajectory, or my, in simple terms, my chart. जो जो हमारा चार्ट होता है जीरोधा के कंसोल में. Zerodha is the primary broker that I use. I also use couple of other brokers and I'll touch upon them. So this is purely from an equity perspective. A large part of my capital also goes towards mutual fund, which I'll talk some other day. This was somewhere early May 2021, and I can very happily tell you that this used to be a very, very small number. Now, as I started to realize, take a little bit of risk and also educate myself, this period was amazingly well because I was riding the tide, and I think everybody made money in this time period. सबने पैसे बनाए हैं, अच्छे पैसे बनाए हैं, बहुत अच्छे पैसे बनाए हैं, because of, if people were able to, although timing market is not a good conversation, but if people were able to ride this curve. So what you can very clearly see is the steep rise, which is very difficult to achieve in any other instrument, if for a general, middle class person. Then I did a cash in, like I sold a lot of them, and this dropped down to significant level. And since somewhere May 2022, which is within, this is about May 2021 ke before, and this is like an year worth of period. Iske baad I'm still accumulating. So now I'm putting in slightly more wealth slowly over a period of time, but the growth exists, but this is slower. Now, what I have understood with this period is that while this was a golden period, over a long period of time, you can make money using in markets, and you can fundamentally beat traditional investments if you play, learn, and understand what you're doing. Knowledge is the most important part in this area, which I think I have talked about before. Technology बाद में आती है, algos बाद में आते हैं, strategies बाद में आते हैं. I think knowledge acquire करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. दूसरा पार्ट जो है, जो मुझे किसी फ्रेंड ने या ट्रेडर ने समझाया कि यू शुड ऑलवेज लर्न हेजिंग, एंड मैं धीरे धीरे बहुत छोटे तरीके से हेज करता हूँ कि आई डू अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ गोल्ड बेस्ड स्टफ. सो 5% ऑफ माई पोर्टफोलियो इज हेज्ड, एंड अजम्पशन इज कि gold is not gonna go drastically to a lower number compared to my stocks and equity. Then there are certain sectors and segments which I am constantly studying and looking at. But before I go there, just take a look at this. I'm still 51% or 52% in large cap, which means that I like to play safe. There's no options, nothing here. This is all डिलीवरी बेस्ड स्टॉक्स. तो मेरा मानना ये है कि आप लॉन्ग टर्म में अच्छे बिजनेसेस को ले, जो फंडामेंटल इन्वेस्टिंग का स्टाइल है उसको पकड़े, और टेक्नोलॉजी को भी समझें एंड यूज़ करें उसको एनालाइज करने के लिए. एंड इफ़ यू कैन ऑटोमेट सर्टन पीसेस ऑफ थिंग्स विच यू आर श्योर शॉट अबाउट इट, then your life would be much easier. Most of this will not apply to traders क्योंकि उनका दिन का काम ही यही है. They are making money using this. They are much more educated this than I am, and they probably need my help in very few limited areas which is not related to finance. तो ये conversation उसके लिए है जो सोच रहा है कि भाई 10,000 15,000 रुपये महीने के मैं क्या करूँ, वेयर डू आई इन्वेस्ट इट, कैसे पैसे बनाऊँ, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। उसके बाद 25% लगभग मिड कैप में है, एंड 18-20% मैं यूजुअली स्मॉल कैप एंड उससे नीचे माइक्रो कैप में प्ले करता हूँ। अगेन दैट्स अ रिस्क एपेटाइट विच आई एम होल्डिंग एज ऑफ नाउ, गिवन माई एज, आई एम क्लोज टू 35-36, बट दिस कुड चेंज फंडामेंटली। इसके बाद कुछ सेक्टर्स हैं जिनको मैं ट्रैक कर रहा हूँ, ट्रेंड कर रहा हूँ, और मैं काफ़ी अलग यूट्यूब चैनल्स खुद भी फॉलो करता हूँ। जैसे आई पर्सनली डू अ बिग शाउट आउट टू अक्षत श्रीवास्तव। आई डू नॉट फॉलो एनी अदर यूट्यूब चैनल from a quantitative finance perspective, लेकिन his channel and fundamentally his style of teaching and talking about economics, macro, and value is really, really helping me out. So if you watch my channel and you are not watching his channel, I would say watch his channel first. तो वो बहुत important है. So this is where I like to play. This does say that this includes stocks from mutual funds. It does not. I have zero mutual funds sitting with coin. So Zerodha ecosystem does not have any knowledge about my mutual fund portfolio. And then the sectors which I'm very, very bullish about, first is financial and second is consumer durable, third is IT. Materials and energy, I'm still trying to get into and understand कि क्या होगा. A lot of long-term investors and VC companies are thinking and talking about materials as going to be a next big area. I don't know. Don't have enough data from Indian market perspective. However, I think given the amount of disruption finance and technology are getting, finance sector is sitting very nice. The amount of spending government has done and the amount of economic drive this government is having from a digital lens, usual lens, and the long term vision 2047 story that is being sold, economic growth has to happen. And if economic growth has to happen, somewhere it will reflect within the financial sector. It can definitely reflect in other sectors as well. My assumption is it will reflect in financial sector. And why is that? I've done few videos about talking about banking stocks. How is it growing? There's a lot of trends that you can understand. For example, you can see how is the credit card spending going, lending industry is growing, how much digitization is coming into the ecosystem, and all of that would tell you that this industry is targeted towards growth. Consumer durables का मतलब अपना गेम है. Consumer durables can be lot of different kind of organizations and smaller companies, but it really depends आप consumer durable में किस type का करना चाहते हो. There could be some consumer durable companies which are short term driven. You can always find a seasonality in them, but there could be consumer durables like long term big shots like Unilever हो गया, etc etc, जो चले जाएंगे, right? They'll keep giving constant growth. Some stocks which have been lucky to have is IRFC, मतलब bought it at 26-27 रुपए, very very openly sharing it, and uh, I think it ended up, I sold it at some 500-600%. So the IRFC I still hold to some percent. Now I've converted it to long because I think that it'll just sit there and it's kind of now becoming a sort of hedge for me. इसके अलावा I also use some tools. Ticker tape is one of them. Tijori Finance is one of them. This is simple portfolio insights. I have no clue how to interpret it. मुझे बस ये देख के अच्छा लगा कि लो रिस्क है, इतना ज़्यादा रिसर्च नहीं करना चाहिए बार बार. I do have an understanding, but I think you should just consume the limited amount of information that you can action upon. ज़्यादा data consume करके कुछ output नहीं आता. It's just counterproductive. PE रेशियो देखना चाहिए. बहुत अच्छा नहीं दिख रहा है 317. चलो इसको कभी देखा जाएगा. प्राइस फोरकास्ट इज डिसेंट, लाइक 16.47% से बढ़ेगा बाय नेक्स्ट ईयर, तो आई एम सिग्निफिकेंटली हैप्पी. बहुत अच्छा परसेंटेज है. सो द स्टोरी दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल in this conversation essentially is this, that if you are okay to put money for long term and you are being consistent about it, there will be growth. अब ये तो सबको ही बोलता है, everybody says this. Now, what is the additional thing which I'm trying to say, that if you bring in the tech part, if you bring in the knowledge part of you, given that most of my audiences are relatively young and the age group is also reducing for traders, you will be able to leverage technology and gain knowledge within this ecosystem. That will give you structured ways to move forward within this space. You will be able to make right decisions. Ki म्यूचुअल फंड में कब पैसा लगाना चाहिए और क्यों लगाना चाहिए, स्टॉक्स में पैसा लगाना चाहिए क्यों लगाना चाहिए, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, गोल्ड में लगाना चाहिए क्यों लगाना चाहिए, ऑल्टरनेट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स करने चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए। जैसे I do put money in crypto. I know that it is a very risky app thing, but I'm okay with that risk. So, given the amount of time I have given in the past few years to myself in teaching these areas, I am now much more confident and much more safer and growth oriented and risk averse with my money. All of these keywords go hand in hand together. All right. So ये थोड़ा सा random video था, but I hope you have been able to find some insights if you have listened to this rant for whole whatever 5 7 minutes or 10 minutes. Until next video, put in a comment what do you want to listen more. Are you more interested in technology? Are you more interested in trading strategies? Backtesting करनी है, community में क्या conversation चाहिए, सब बताओ. Thank you. Bye bye.